All right. Thanks for being here. Good to see you. Let's connect to our Ujjayi breath as we feel our shoulders situate over our hips, our head over our torso and our pelvis. And all this to the effect of helping foreground the feeling of our breath, the sense of our breath. So let's do that. Just these little architectural shifts or postural shifts. As ways of enhancing our perception of our breath. So just take a few moments just to navigate into that best configuration. And feel the shoulders relax. And feel the weight of the thigh bones just melting down as the hip crease area relaxes. And our aim today is very simple. In a sense, a concentration practice with hopefully a lot of correlative benefits is when in doubt, connect to breath. Breathe, feel. What am I sensing? Whether it's the pressure on my skin or the feeling of a stretch or an emotional tone or a little whiff of a memory, just what am I sensing? Feel plus breathe. Those will be my primary reminders to us today. We'll work Kapalabhati in conjunction with Uddiyana. So let's arrange to be in a shoelace or a cross-legged position. So if you have some knee situations, which one or two of us might, you might want to forego the shoelace and opt for a more propped or comfortable cross-legged. I'm starting right over left. And with the feet gently active, right? We'll start with the Kapalabhati. Kapalabhati, short, sharp exhalations. They're staccato, so they're really as brief as possible, with only the amount of space between them that it takes for my abdomen to relax. So it's brief, relax. Even if it's a little bit of a jiggly, uncertain relax, just wait till you feel that relax, and then that brief expulsion again. So here we go. Let's begin. We'll do about 50 pumps. pause there. Take one deep Ujjayi breath, just letting that all slow down. There's some gas exchange, there's some chemistry shift. So you start to feel what all that Kapalabhati starts to do, blood and brain. And let's go fingertips to the ground, keeping the feet gently active. Let's inhale, letting that breath descend into the low back and pelvis. Letting it expand through the ribs, chest wall, and upper back and head. And here we'll hold the breath. So if there's any excitation, any feeling of charge, or just taking that in, getting interested. I'm going to bring the hands beside the legs or in front of the legs. Just depends how the hips are feeling today. And again, feet gently active. Exhale all that out the mouth. Remain empty. Keep the chin down, close to sternum, as you draw the belly in and back. And up. Just releasing when you need that rest. And come back upright. We'll do one more round of Uddiyana, so that's the breath hold. Inhale in and through your core. Pause, hold that breath gently. Feel the skull bones softly lifting away from the sit bones gently sinking earthward. Bring the hands forward, swift, thorough exhalation. Remain empty, chin lowered close to sternum, pulling belly in, drawing it back. Using hands, gently pull or intone this forward movement of the chest. Softening internally. And release when you need. Inhaling, come on up. All right. So let's uncross our legs. We'll repeat that entire series on the other side. So that's Kapalabhati, the short, sharp exhalations, plus 2 rounds of Uddiyana. And we'll be on our own for this brief pranayama period. When you're ready, begin. Each of those exhalations is as crisp, as punctuated as possible. It's very brief. You feel that little wave of softening in the abdomen. And it's a good thing to catch, making sure that we do, in fact, feel the softening of the belly. Many people will feel the contractile portion and might miss altogether the softening portion. So we want that softening to register. That's important. There you go. Just keeping the feet gently active. So as I'll usually just press out through the heel bone to protect the lateral edge of my knee. Good. And while I'm holding that abdomen, while I'm holding that breath moment, I'm softening through the hip crease, active through the legs. And of course, when we're through with that, we'll resume our Ujjayi breath. Also, let's unwind the legs, give them a little straightening out moment. We're going to rewind them the other way, so we're still in shoelace. We're going back to right over left. So I've got my right hand to the ground. The weight of my right foot is just tacking down, holding down the left thigh bone. Inhale. Let's reach that left arm up as we send the left sit bone into the earth. Kind of feel that little sink. Maybe the left side, low back, actually lengthens. Exhaling. Lift. So the whole trunk lifts from sit bones. And reach to your right. Now in this side bend, we're going to work with the exhalation. So keeping that neck really relaxed. It can relax to the right, it can relax slightly right and downward. And keeping that neck relaxed, use those low belly muscles. Recruit them to the action of helping expel breath to a very empty degree. I think one of the most common observations when it comes to lengthening the breath is we just go too fast, too hard. It's like fast and hard is just kind of the known. So you might even think like, can I count a 16-second exhalation. And just try one round of it. It's not a mandate, but just start to stretch and get a feel for length of your exhalation. That lengthening and that slowing of the exhalation often helps that release gesture occur more gently, and so it's less of a startle. Right? When I do things quickly and with force, maybe my body's not prepared to reveal or to open at that rate. So maybe I have to just slow it down and find out what's the right rate of release, of revealment that my body is up for. Inhaling, let's take that left arm up and over. Help draw the entire trunk upright. Push with your right hand. Again, we'll unwind legs. And we'll switch sides. So the weight of my left foot is anchoring down the right thigh. A little paperweight. Left hand beside, inhale, reach the right arm up, but also gently sink the right sit bone down. Allow for the neck to soften. Exhaling, recruiting, employing those low belly muscles. So slowly drawing in, back, up, emptying, emptying, emptying. What we can know by doing might be different than what we can know by listening. Right? So there's some information I'll get by doing, turning this muscle on, exhaling like so, moving my hand in this way, right? Spreading bones. There's some things I'll know by doing, but there's a great deal of material, of information that I can know by listening, which really is, in a sense, not doing so much. Observing, noticing, feeling, listening, sensing, reception. What comes up, what comes through, what's emerging. Now let's inhale that right arm up and over. Use it to draw the trunk up, push the trunk up, all the way up. Let's unwind the legs. Okay. Just take a moment, carefully straighten them. I know there's some knee things going on, sometimes I'll straighten my legs and use my quadriceps and slowly but fully engage those muscles just to get all of that ligature around the knees. Just kind of express, so I'm just not pulling and right, it's just little things, little contractile helpers. All right, let's lie on our back. We'll bring the feet off the ground. And then feeling the spine, especially the low back, remain connected to the ground. So part of that is a feedback, okay? That we're bringing our feeling, awareness, our breath into our low back. And we want that. Now just a sidebar, this is a very specific sidebar. Some of you know that you've had a diagnosis, or you know that there's an issue with the pelvis being rotated or turned or offset in relationship to itself. Okay? You may have to do your PT exercises here and out, these abdominals. Sometimes these abdominals can actually exacerbate any torsions or twists that you may have in your pelvic bones relationships. So sometimes these are really, really good, and in a few special cases, they can be not so good. All right, we're presuming things are good to go. Inhale, head and shoulders off the ground. And I'm feeling that breath spread into the low back, left half, right half. I'll pause right here. Curling tailbone creates a little more abdominal pressure and awareness of the tailbone. Exhale, the left leg reaching out. Now I'm going to engage my quadricep just for the sake of those knee ligaments and pressing through the ball of that left foot. I'm going to get everything engaged through the calf, the quad, for the sake of the knee, and then draw the low belly down. As I lift, reach that left leg away. Inhale, bend that left knee. Curling tailbone. There's that abdominal pressure. Exhale, reach out through the right leg. Not only engaging the muscles, I'm letting those muscles work all the way through the ligaments. You can feel for that all around the knee. And as I reach that right leg up, pull low belly down. So it's a little play. Inhale, bend that right knee. All right. I'll talk through one more. Curling the tailbone. There's that abdominal pressure. Exhaling, curling that tailbone, reach that left leg out. Now lift the leg, but pull the belly down and keep the back on the ground. There's a little opposing motion. Back moving down, staying down, leg lifting up, reaching away. Inhale, bend that left knee. Curling tailbone, exhale, right leg out, reach. Back stays down. You have to keep it down with your abdominal pressure as you lift that right leg up, reaching that leg out. It's like back is moving toward the ground, leg is reaching away from the ground. Pull low belly down. Let's continue. We'll do 3 more on each side. And let's do these on our own. So again, I'm using my abdominal pressure in a downward, kind of keeping the back moving down, staying down, remaining in contact. The leg bones are lifting up, pulling up, reaching up, and in between those two rather contrary motions, what do you feel, and can you breathe there? So if we are over bracing, if we're doing a lot of contraction, there's a lot of the sensory, the sensing and the listening information I may miss. So I can't just crank down on my abdominal muscles like I'm gonna rip 300 pounds off the floor. It's not the same kind of move as that. There you go, that's it. That's it, Joy. Yep, and the back moves down, and the back moves down. There you go. Yeah, it's challenging. It's challenging to feel that leg distinct from the sacrum, but very worth the feeling information. Cool. Great. So when you're done with that, if you're done with that, we'll also work straddle lifting through. So you can remain lying, bring the legs up, both of them, and separate the legs apart. Okay? And again, if you have torsions, twists, rotations in your pelvis, you'll likely notice it a lot here, and it's highly likely that bracing will only exacerbate, or it really won't advance our sense perception. So we have to get really clear, and there's a lot of good professionals out there that'll help us specifically with sacrum, pelvis, and spine. Inhale, let's float the head and the shoulder blades off the ground. So there's a little bit of abdominal pressure that builds up, just lifting the chest up. Exhale. Use those low belly muscles, draw them in, draw them down, and now you're reaching the thigh bones away from the middle of your sacrum. Draw low belly down. I'll talk through just one more. Inhale. Breath descends so the sacrum kind of unfurls along the ground somewhat. Exhaling. If I'm employing those low belly muscles, my pelvis, my low back, they shift a little bit. Reach legs away from the center of sacrum. Pull low belly down. Good. Let's go 5 more on our own. when you are through, use your hands to help the legs together. While we're lying, there's no rush to finish. Just keep working the straddles. There's no hurry, ever. But we will be setting up bridge with a block. So you want to have that near. Cool. Feet set, hip width. My fingertips, as I reach them down, I can skim heels. Now, both feet down on ground. Can you feel both sides of your sacrum, like near the back hip pockets where they would be on the ground? Now, inhale the chest away from those sacral or hip pockets. And exhaling, let's shift the tailbone toward the sky, lifting the sacrum, lifting the low back, reaching those thigh bones forward away from the nose, entering bridge. Now, the block is useful and beneficial if you have any hamstring or knee concerns and you need that extra support. It is possible to do this next little bit of work without a block. And if there's no pain, it can be really cool to start to work on feeling just how strong and stable and how it feels without a block. But for the sake of illustration, if you need a block, you can slide it the tall way under your sacrum. Now, the thing with using a block is that many of us will just let the legs kind of limp out. And this is the really unfortunate aspect of some of our prop usage. I really want you to use the legs, because we drive some blood through these demanding muscle groups. There's some incredible benefits, just turning over the blood, nourishing the cells and the ligaments. There's really nothing like it. So if you're using the blocks, your legs don't have to work. We're missing incredible cellular benefits by working the legs. So just be really clear, and if you use the block, use your legs. Right. Right foot absolutely grounded. Inhaling, we'll pick that left foot up, crossing the ankle over the thigh. Now I have to flex this left foot. Okay? And nothing should feel like it's pulling or weird in the knee. You may just have to adjust your pressures, your angles. Inhaling into the sacrum, left half of pelvis. So how do you bear the breath down to feel breath in pelvis? Exhaling, reach that left leg out. Now, as you're breathing down into the pelvis, you can simultaneously breathe into the upper back. And let's do that. So as the breath descends into that left side pelvis, it also expands into both halves of shoulder blades. I will set that left foot down. But when you set it down, keep using the legs. Imagine that block is not there. Press to work the legs. They get hot, great, big deal. It's one of those remembrances of, oh my gosh, I'm a living, breathing, blood-pumping being. Right? Great, we're using some energy. Awesome. Let's go right ankle over left thigh. Helping that breath descend into the right side pelvis. And feel how the breath can simultaneously expand and ascend into the backs of the shoulder blades and under the chest wall. Set that right foot down. The feet are still pressing. The legs are still working. Shifting the tailbone up away from that block. Press. Remove that block. And start by lowering just the upper back to the ground. And then just kind of pause when you feel the back of the heart area contacting ground. Take another breath. And as you exhale again, feel the mid-spine kind of lowering, contacting the ground. And once that mid-back is contacting the ground, just pause, connect to your breath. Both halves of your rib cage on the ground, right? Exhaling, lower, bringing the low back. So kind of slow releasing some of our working leg muscles. Okay. Great. Let's turn onto a side and press to elbows and knees. Oh, and by the way, if you have some wall surface, a little preview, we'll be working one leg up. And you may really like having the feedback of foot on wall. I'm going to set up that way. You're welcome to join me or freestyle without a wall. Okay, so we're setting up dolphin. Elbows under shoulders and our knees under our hips. Okay. Now I'm just adding one more prop. If you wanted to lean a couple of blocks against the wall, the benefit of doing that is I can't stretch my hamstrings as much, right, without my heels going down, which actually gives me a lot more play, or we can say like slack or play through the low back. So if you have some low back issues, from time to time, putting something under your heel, like, let me show you, like tenting blocks or getting some wedges, can be really cool. All right, so that's what I'm using. Here we go. Inhaling into the mid-back. Now let's feel the neck soften. Exhaling, press the knees off the ground, and we're in dolphin. Let's start with the left foot. So I'm raising the left foot, and I'm letting the foot just be up on the wall. Soften neck, connect to breath. Feel if breath can arrive in between the shoulders. Feel if your breath can penetrate into those layers of shoulder and bone and ligament, and the shoulder space, which is the tops of the lungs and the heart, the bronchial tubes, all of these pathways that bring the outside world into our body. Right? Our esophagus, bronchial, this is a rich place where our outside environment, kind of as like a vestibule, starts to become our inner environment. It's a very important threshold. Now let's set that left foot down and we'll exchange, bringing the right foot up. And yes, you can use that wall. It's just a nice little bit of support. Good, exactly. And Brett, by letting a little bit of that weight kind of be in the right foot, you notice how you can lengthen through the left side of the waist. Yeah. That's it. Nice, Joy. Exactly. And it keeps lifting and moving and growing. That's cool. That's so cool. Give it just 2, 3 deep breaths more. Feeling that breath penetrate. It's almost like the way soil takes up rain. I know already we've had these flood rains here in the Midwest. Already the grass is so much greener. We'll set that right foot down, and we'll set the knees down. Keep that setup next to wall. Let's stand. Whoops. Let's stand in a wide stance, horse stance. We'll be working Agnisara with hand passes. So Get a nice deep stance, horse stance. Okay. If you need some knee support, either we can elevate this a little bit, and the other way to support the knee is sometimes I'll just take a real close horse stance against the wall. So the one or two or few of us that are working with some knee stuff, make sure your knee feels fine in horse stance. Pardon. All right, inhale, let's bring the hands up to about heart level. Flip them over, exhale, everything out, hands up. Good, keeping the feet a little active, and we'll draw the belly in and release, draw the belly in and release, draw the belly in and release, okay? Inhale, bring the hands around. Exhale, hands out to the sides. Exhale everything out. So you might get 3 or 4 of those movements. And then inhale, bring the hands overhead, over midline, elbows back. Exhaling, palms forward. Everything out. And then drawing the belly in and back. And releasing a few times. Palms up, inhale, hands toward you. Exhale, palms down. And inhale, straighten the legs for just a moment. Don't go too far away. We're coming right back in, and we will do a second round. So if we're ready, here we go. Sink back in. Inhaling, hands up toward heart. Flip them over, exhale, palms reach up. Inhale, palms around to heart position. Now I'm taking the hands, exhaling them out to sides. So we're exhaling everything out. Stay empty, drawing the belly in and releasing. Inhale, bring the hands up and bring the elbows back. Exhale, palms forward. Last one, inhale, hands toward your heart. Exhale, palms down. And when you're through, straighten your legs, heel toe your feet together. All right, so we'll be kicking up. I'll be showing you with a wall and working our legs in some configurations. Horse stance and Baddha Konasana. So let me show you those. Let me move over one. So when we kick up handstand one, I will be sitting on the wall, so I get pretty close, like close as in 1, maybe 2 inches at the very, very most. Breathing into that navel area. Sitting. And then horse stance, handstand. My butt's on the wall, and I'm literally scooting my tailbone up. And then Baddha Konasana. My soles of feet are together, pressing, lifting, reaching the tailbone up. Okay, when you need to come out, it's kind of helpful to straighten the legs up and step down. One of the great benefits I get from this leg configuration is by shortening the moment arm, the amount of weight that's away from my midline, by shortening that, bringing the legs into these bent positions, I can much more readily feel the tailbone and engage all of those pelvic moving structures that play a huge role in keeping my hips up in handstand. So if you're not kicking up, you'll work downward dog on the wall, and you'll reach one leg away at a time. Super clear? I'm here to help. Just sound out or use some visual sound to get my attention. But, all right. So on our own for just a moment, both sides. There you go. And you can bring your butt back, Brett. Now, if you're more than a couple of inches from the wall, you'll be going into this kind of back bend thing, and it's really hard to fish ourselves out of that back bend. So I go really, really close, fingertips super close to wall. There you go. Nice spatial measurement there, Joy. Very attuned to your environment. Good. There you go. That's it. And keep gliding the tailbone up to the heel. Yep. Yeah, exactly. And just keep scooting it up and scooting it up and scoot. Yes. Nice deep breath. That's a fantastic move. Mm-hmm. Yes. That's it. Starts to register through the shoulders. That's exciting. Yes. Way to use those legs. Nice, deep breath. Getting deep breaths in there, huh? There we go. There we go. Yes. Awesome. So when we do step down, that will conclude our wall work. We'll move back to the top of our mat. We'll be moving through some suns. Inhale as the heels melt and sink down, the arms elevate, lifting the ribs away from the hips. Exhale, fold. You can bend your knees if you need to tend to your low back. Right. Inhale, step the left foot back, lunge, we'll set the knee down. Place the hands down, exhaling, step the right foot back and lower, belly to earth. Cobra, inhale. Exhaling, lower downward dog. Now listen very carefully to your inhale as you're stepping your left foot forward. Remember, we're breathing and we're inhaling. setting that right knee down, lunge. Hands to ground, exhaling the right foot forward. Remember, we're exhaling and we're stepping. Listen to that sound. Inhale, stand, draw the arms up. Exhaling, hands to heart. Once more, inhale, we'll draw the arms up. But I'm also lifting my ribs up. I'm stretching my heels down. Exhale, fold. Bending the knees. If you need to keep that low back more of like neutral. Right foot back. Inhale, step it back, set the knee down. Press those legs down, lift with the arms. Hands to ground, exhaling, step left foot back. And we'll lower. Cobra, shifting the tailbone toward the earth, but then breathing into the abdomen, and so under the back, under the spine bones. Exhaling, lower, downward dog. Now, the stepping is an inhalation move. So inhale and step, right foot forward. Hands to ground, exhaling, left foot forward. Stepping, folding, and exhaling. Inhale, stand, drawing the arms up. But sink, reach the heels down, lengthen the low back, lift the ribs, use the arms. Exhaling, hands to heart. Okay, chair pose. Inhale, bend knees. Now I shift the tailbone down a little bit, so as my arms lift and reach back, I'm getting into the mid-back, not the low back. I'm actually preventing that low back smush. Exhale, fold forward, soften the neck. Monkey, inhale. Move the collar away from the thigh. And we'll step back, exhaling, step or jump, chaturanga. Inhale, upward dog or cobra. Exhaling, downward dog. Now, remain right here with fingers pointing forward as we turn the upper arm bones, bending the elbows, and we move into turbo dog. Inhale, right foot forward, warrior one. Listen to the breath as you step. Now keep wrapping the shoulders here in warrior one, because we're going to play a little bit between the upper back and the hips today. So the sole of my left foot, especially the inner ball mounts, I'm pushing the ground. Sure, I'm sinking my heel down, but not at the expense of making my foot flaccid or unstructured or unfelt. I can press through the ball mount, even as I'm sinking my back heel down. Twisting warrior, moving on exhale. We'll hook that's left elbow over the right thigh. So I connect to breath. Feel. Now I realize this is a very simple sort of cue to just breathe and feel again and again. Right? So often our kind of internal captain is like, but what should I feel? Tell me what I should feel. And I really want us to become sensors, right? For the sake of listening itself, right? An art to listening. It isn't just listening to, it's really like, how do we become an instrument of deep, curious listening? Right? How do I listen with my shoulder blade? How do I listen with my breath? How do I listen with my feet? When we inhale and unwind from that twist, use your right hand to simply press your trunk upright. We're setting up for ostrich. Interlace hands, lifting the chest. Exhaling, hinge. Now, if you're protecting your back or your knee, you might want to just pause with your ribs on your thigh. If you'd like to take advantage of that gravity hang, you can let the trunk hang inside that thigh. Now breathing underneath the shoulder blades and chest wall. Inhaling, bring the hands down next to sacrum, and there we'll release them to the ground. Exhaling, chaturanga, we step back, lowering. Inhale, upward dog. If your shoulders feel a little tender coming out of some of these poses, please, and always remember, we have access to, and we can always use cobra until our shoulders feel well situated. Exhaling, downward dog. When the neck feels soft, getting those hands firmly interfacing the ground, turning those upper arm bones in their sockets as you happen to bend elbows. If I can feel those upper arm bones turning in the socket, to me, I must press and feel the inner part of the hand. It must be an ultra, present, felt experience. So I'm turning the arm bone. As I'm bending the elbow, I must push into those middle finger, index, and thumb parts of hand. That's it, Vijay, that's it. And so you might feel Brett turning the upper arm bone in the socket like a screwdriver. There, yes, as you bend the elbows. Yes, but keep turning, keep feeling the rotation of the arm bone. Deep breath. All right, inhale the left foot forward, warrior one. Now, as we start to move and attempt to massage and work and sense through these middle back and upper back areas, it may occur to us that there's a little log jam, or there's a little blank spot, or there's an area where it's just really challenging to sense. Good catch. Connect to your breath, and can you feel the blankness? Can you feel the limitation or the lumpishness? Rather than items to be fixed, what if these were things that brought our listening to bear? Exhaling, right elbow over left thigh, twisting warrior. Inhaling, unwind. Place your left hand on your thigh, push. So I use that hand support. We're setting up ostrich, interlace. Exhaling, hinge. Okay, so I can go ribs to thigh if there's an area of my body like back or knee that feels a little twingy. I can also take the torso off the thigh and allow it to hang more freely. And inhaling, bring those hands down, release them at the sacrum, set them on ground. Exhaling, chaturanga. Inhale, upward dog or cobra. But inhale into the abdomen, pulling, moving the shoulders away from the neck. Exhale, lower, downward dog. Now listen to your breath. Feel the quality of your breath as you inhale the right foot between your hands, warrior two. So I really have to lift up between my shoulder blades to set that foot down quietly. So, yeah. I'm going to let the arms just hang down for a moment. We're getting into the shoulders by way of contraction. Inhale, feel breath arriving in the upper back. It's like the top of your shoulder blade. Pause. Let's hike it up, squeeze it back. Exhale, squeeze and drag. Now the middle of the heart, middle of the shoulder blades, squeeze there. Exhaling, squeeze, drag down. We'll do a last point, inhale. Find the bottom tips, squeeze them, exhale, squeeze them as they descend down each side of the spine. Good, inhale. Into the upper back as you move those fingertips out to the side for interlock warrior. Exhaling, right armpit next to thigh, left hand behind back. Now feel for turning your own trunk open, meaning rather than the strength of your arms pulling you back, can you use your own intrinsic kind of that deep, that internal turning strength to turn your chest toward the wall or the ceiling? All right, we're moving into elephant. So I'm going to release the hands. Inhale, place the hands underneath your shoulders. And if you know elephant, you're welcome to kind of float into it. Otherwise, if you need some reminders, set the left knee down and we'll have a seat. Okay. Now if I sat down with my leg there, my leg is already set. Okay? So this is the first part we want in elephant, is this right leg over the arm. The next part of it is elevating. Elevating our butt and all of our parts up. Now I'm keeping my left leg bent. That's the easiest or nice on-ramp. So look what I'm doing. I'm letting my left foot be down. As I push down, so I've actually pushed my butt up and my foot helped me. Oh good, I like that help. Yeah? I'll say it again. This is my right foot, slung over my right upper arm. My left leg is bent just for the sake of ease, for the sake of elevating with ease. My edge of foot is going to help me. My hands beside my hips. I push, my butt comes up. Now, if that feels easy, like why is this a pose? Then you can start to press that left leg out. There you go, that's it, Vijay, that's it. You might want to bring that left hand way closer to your left hip. Yeah, think of, this is like push-up or chaturanga hand spacing. I can't do it like this. I can't do it like this. I wouldn't do a push-up like this. It's really like hands under shoulders. There you go. Nice. Nice, Joy. That's awesome. Good. Now we're also going to peel out of here into chaturanga. I know, isn't this exciting? Okay. So you've got that left leg floating. We're going to start to slide it under our butt. Now, sometimes this happens. I just pause in the middle, I take a little commercial break, but I can keep going, right? I keep reaching, walking, wiggling that back. Yeah, okay. Okay. There you go. And we'll press back into downward dog. Inhale your left foot forward, warrior two, shoulder shrugs. So just let the arms hang out. It gives those hands a rest. Inhale into upper back. Hike up the shoulders, squeeze them. Squeeze them together, exhale, squeeze them down. So up, in, and down. Now as I release the squeeze, I inhale. Squeeze the middle parts of your shoulder blades together. Exhaling, squeeze, drag. And release that, inhale. And the bottom tip, squeeze together, exhaling, drag down. Like we're sponge cleaning the sides of our spine. Okay. Inhale, releasing the squeeze, arms out to the side. We're moving into that interlock. So when we exhale, I'll bring this left armpit next to the thigh, the right hand behind the back. Feel plus breathe. I connect to my breath. There's a lot to sense when my breath is foregrounded, when it's a primary, foregrounded aspect of my experience. Like I might be feeling just how tight one shoulder is versus another, or how close my ribs seem to kind of live together. And when I release, I'm inhaling the hands down under my shoulders. Now we're moving into elephant, so you can practice drawing that right leg through into elephant. Or like we did before, we put the knee down, we sat down, and we built it up from the ground up. Okay? So if I were passing my leg through, right? Okay. Let me turn a little bit, and I'll go over building it up from the ground to float. Okay, so we got a left side, leg over arm, hands about shoulder width, not wider, but shoulder width. I pick my knee up, but I leave my right foot down. So when I start to push hands down, my butt lifts, and if it doesn't, I'm just going to use this right foot and I'm going to push it up. Yep. So I literally am right foot stepping down and butting up. There you go, and then I can always take the foot away. And I dare you to breathe. Gotcha. And feel. There you go, there you go. Now, if you've got like a few moments left, let's just think about this before we re-enter. We can step back into downward dog from elephant. So just consider it. We'll make the pass-through. Here we go. So let's say I've got one more little burst of elephant. Okay. I would pass this right foot under my butt. Okay? And you could just set the knee down. That's perfectly fine. Stepping back, downward dog. Excellent. Gently set the knees down. Let's give a little reprieve to these upper back muscles. When you have a seat, some cushion may be in order. We have some options. I'm going to put a strap out as an option, a blanket, or a little wedge of support. Now, I realize some of us have some knee issues, so I'm going to guess that half lotus may not be your gig today. Perfectly fine. You could put that foot down on the ground. Okay. I'm going to go with half lotus. You can always wedge a little something under your thigh to make it agreeable. Right hand will reach behind and grab thigh or waistband or clothing or strap or foot. So the right hand is behind the back. Grab something. Engage the inner left leg. Inhale, lift with the left arm. Lift the ribs up away from the hips. Exhale, hinge forward over that straightened left leg. Neck soft. Adjust if this doesn't feel good in the knee. I want you to make sure knee always feels good. Not tweaky, not jammed, not smushed. There's a great deal of benefit to be able to bend and move and work with the ligaments in this kind of full range way, but there are thresholds and cautions. Like if we're feeling chronic pain or inflammation, like that's a red light. That's a no-go. All right, let's release. Inhaling, come upright. All right, we'll switch sides. And again, that was a pretty deep bend, so I'm just kind of talking through some ideas about this ligament care. Like, I'm going to straighten my right leg, but I'm going to engage the quadricep, the shin muscles, the foot muscles, and I'm going to kind of pump back and forth a little bit. Really strong squeeze. There's something that just feels good proprioceptively after I've had my ligaments in a significant bend or shape. Okay? All right. Left leg is bent. We're folding over the right leg. First, my left hand will grab something behind the back. Foot, thigh, hip, waistband. Inhaling the right arm up, lifting right ribs away from right hip. Exhaling, fold. Coming up out of there. Let's unwind. And I'm just kind of saying this and thinking this out loud because this is what I do just so I don't feel any sudden weirdnesses. Just straighten the left leg, contract the muscles, kind of flex, push. So these really just careful contractions of all those muscles. And then I kind of release it. All right? Let's set up Shavasana. So even in that simplicity of feel plus breathe. Right? While we're in this state of, we're practicing, there's some intentionality, there's certain specific movements that maybe we haven't taken into our ordinary kind of usual day. What are you able to feel and notice with your breath right now that perhaps is quite a bit different than how you felt before your practice? I'll make some suggestions. You don't need to feel what I'm offering, but these are just help to create a certain lens, or how should I listen? How does one listen differently? Right? So you might get a sense of there being freedom or openness in the body that you can sense with your breath. Maybe there's a sense of lightness, like we've unburdened, or cleaned the filter, so to speak. Mental content. Maybe there's a lightness, a clarity. Maybe a shift in content altogether. No mental content. Clouds or bursts of creative mental content. Chemistry, blood, oxygen. As we're this connected to our breath and moving blood into all of these parts of our body, we can start to get a sense of how blood and oxygen and all these gases and chemistries create a certain quality of perception. There's not a wrong answer, there's just listening, right? And using the content of noticing, the content in the listening to learn about our listening, how deeply we're listening. Anyway, bend knees. Turn to a side. Use both hands, press to seated. Namaste.